You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. Today, we're talking about how church leaders can find insurance to cover the church's roof. Ted is the head of the finance committee for a church in Sherman. As he stands in the parking lot looking up at his church's 12-year-old asphalt roof, he starts to worry. He knows a church down the street got hit by hail last April and ended up paying $100,000 out of pocket before the insurance company kicked in a single cent. The church leaders had to take out a loan just to complete the repairs. Ted was worried that their church might face the same problem, so he went back to the church office to review their insurance policies. He looked at his church's roof deductible and his head started to ache. He wasn't completely sure he knew what it meant, so he decided to call us at Insurance for Texans. I started off the conversation by asking about his church's current policy. As we talked, Ted discovered that his church was walking into what I call the deductible trap. For years, churches had flat deductibles on their roofs, but today, most policies use a percentage to calculate the deductible. That means your roof's deductible is a percentage of the total insured value of the building. Think about it. If your church's building is insured for $5 million, then 2% of $5 million equals $100,000. That $100,000 is coming straight out of your church's budget. As we continued to talk, I told Ted about a potential solution, and that is a deductible buy down policy. Adding a buy down policy to your church's insurance package is a strategic move where you intentionally take that high deductible policy to lower your monthly premium and then buy a separate second policy that covers the gap. It buys down your out-of-pocket risk to something more manageable. You get the savings of the big policy without the terrifying financial exposure of the whole deductible. As we continued our discussion, I told Ted about another place where churches get into trouble when it comes to insuring their roof. That is what I call the Depreciation Surprise. Ted saw 3 letters on his policy, ACV. Those letters stand for actual cash value. And because his roof is 12 years old, the insurance company decided that it has lost 40% of its value. Even if it costs $100,000 to replace it, the insurance company is only going to give the church $60,000 in the event of a roof claim. Ted's church would have to find the other $40,000 somewhere else. To fix this, we offer standalone hail policies. If we cannot get replacement cost coverage because of the age of your roof, we can look outside the standard market and find you a standalone policy. Finally, I warned Ted about something else that trips up church leaders. It is called a managed repair program. Certain insurance plans offer lower premiums, but they often come with a catch. You sign away your right to choose a specific contractor to repair your church building in the event of a claim. The insurance company picks the vendor, the materials, and the schedule. With these programs, their goal is to keep the repair costs as low as possible and not necessarily to restore your church to the way it was before. At the end of our conversation, Ted felt a little better about how to insure his church's roof so that they didn't end up like their neighbor down the road. At Insurance for Texans, we help church leaders to look out for these roof traps every day. We take the time to get to know your church by asking questions about your buildings, your congregation, and what ministries you operate. That's what True Texas Church Insurance is all about. We don't hide policy language from you just to sell you a cheaper policy. We make sure that you know what your insurance will do for your church the next time a Texas hailstorm rolls through town. Don't trade real protection for a cheaper price. Your church deserves an insurance agent who understands Texas churches. Connect with us at insurancefortexasin.com. And if you want to better understand church insurance in general, get a free copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, remember, your church deserves to know the truth about insurance roof traps before you need to file a claim.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.